JJ and Eric Carnivore Show.
Well, a warm welcome to you all. I'm JJ. I'm a life coach, and I've been eating mostly meat since October 2022.
Same.
Your name is JJ?
Well, no.
You're a life coach?
My name is Eric, and I'm a novelist and a groundskeeper. And I've been, carnivore for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's paid off.
It has. Do tell.
I have lost 30-something pounds, 36 pounds. Body recomp, IBS gone, reflux gone, more energy, and lately, a better mood.
What?
Lately, a better mood.
Yeah, you were. So I've got that sort of carnivore zen most of the time.
Mentioned in our theme song.
Mentioned in our theme. But you've been kind of jealous of that for a while.
I have been jealous of your zen, and I wasn't there.
No.
But more recently, I can't say zen, but I've been in a pretty good mood, and my energy's been nice, and my anxiety has settled way down.
That's nice.
Yeah. What? Yeah. And that was partly getting ketones up. So that was one of the tricks. But that's not new, because on this channel, we talk about Georgia Eads' book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, almost every episode. And she talks about getting into a therapeutic zone of ketosis between 1 millimole and 3 is really good for mental health. She's a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, and they're seeing extraordinary benefits to mental health with ketosis.
And so at this point, we've hit most of our physical goals, I think.
Yeah.
So really a driving force for the both of us, I think, is that mental health and energy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because, I am sure that I could lose some more body fat if I chose to, and I know exactly which levers to pull.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? For me, it would just be shortening my eating window.
Yeah.
And it would just start happening.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you've done to get into deeper ketosis?
Well, I did an experiment where I increased my fat intake versus protein, and that helped. But I was still struggling to get my ketones to turn on and my blood sugar to just come down a little bit, which is a little weird. But it's a phenomenon that people on carnivore see sometimes. And what I reasoned out through was I just needed to deplete blood and muscle and liver glucose stores enough that it signaled the liver to say, oh, we have an emergency. Let's get into ketone production immediately. And I did that by doing a slightly longer fast. And it wasn't long. It was like a 15-hour fast. But then doing a hard workout at the very end of the fast, tapped out all of those stores, or at least enough that it shot the liver into a mode of ketone production. And then from that point on, my ketones were better and my blood sugar was better. It just needed to get a little nudge over the edge.
Oh. So, and you have not been eating as much fat lately either.
After my consultation with Dr. Ovadia, we decided that actually I probably should back off the fat a little bit, because my triglycerides had shot back up. And there was just a view that I was probably way over consuming fat. And in my particular metabolism, for whatever reason, extremely insulin sensitive, my liver was just churning out VLDLs like they were going out of style.
Yeah.
So that's the direction we're going to go. Is I'm not doing. I'm eating three meals, spreading my macros out across the day, and my fat to protein ratio is down to that 65-35, 70-30 zone. But I'm feeling good. I've retained the mental health benefits.
Yes.
Although this morning my blood sugar was a little high and my ketones were a little low, but there's natural variability to that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But it's great to feel good. I recommend it versus the other choice, which wasn't ever a choice.
Well, and I think the proper human diet is the way to get there, to feeling better.
It is a direct path versus the indirect path that I took for ages. And the indirect path is not saying it's not valuable, but there's all kinds of therapy modalities. There's supplements, and there's even medication. And you might say, well, medication, that's really direct because that's going into the brain chemistry. Not as direct as you may think.
No.
It takes a while for those to actually kick in to see if it has any benefit. And if you want to stop it, it isn't necessarily a walk in the park for everybody. And the same thing with taking supplements is sometimes something like L-theanine can help reduce anxiety or create a relaxation effect. But that's not necessarily a permanent or persistent effect. So what I wanted to get was, I wanted to not need any supplements or any meds and just go directly to diet, because the assumption is if it's the proper human diet, it's what the heart, the muscles, the liver, the pancreas all were evolved to use for nutrition and energy. Well, then the brain rides along with all of those things as well. So there's no reason to think that the brain is special, needing some sort of different diet than the rest of the body.
Yeah, it's not all. We're used to siloing the parts of the body off, right? You go to this specialist and that specialist and this specialist and that specialist. But really eating the proper human diet is a way to look at the body holistically and give the whole body the nourishment it needs. And I'm being really careful today in saying the proper human diet because we both have experienced a spectrum on that as well. We haven't been, you've been beef, butter, bacon, and eggs sometimes.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. And sometimes you're not.
I've done that.
You've been higher fat, lower fat, not low, never low fat since we've gone carnivore, not low fat.
I'm actually more beef sardines.
Yeah, right now.
And a little bacon and very little butter.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
People ask us what they should do. And we're going to offer some suggestions of our experiences that we've had. But the truth is, it's so individualized and it can change over time for each individual as well.
I think that there's phases of carnivore. And I know that a number of the carnivore influencers have done these videos. Where like stage 1, 2, 3. And I like that, but I don't think I'm ready to propose what those are.
No.
But I will say that if you're starting from a SAD diet or you have a lot of insulin resistance and a lot of body fat to lose, it just seems like the diet doesn't have to be tuned as finely.
No.
Is that you just make the positive directional change towards a proper human diet and you get a huge amount of benefit. But we just had somebody comment on one of our videos. They lost like 100 pounds, but now they've stalled.
Yes.
And they're like going carnivore and not seeing the stall break yet.
Yes.
And that's where those experiments become really crucial.
I like what you're saying, though. I've heard a lot of other people talking about this lately. I've heard Kelly Hogan, Courtney Luna, Maria Emmerich talks about this, how that directional change at the beginning for healing and for weight loss is huge. And then as you go along, then you might need to start worrying about other things. Now, and we're talking go along, because I went 7 months without losing weight on the carnivore diet. 7 months without losing weight. But I was seeing other benefits. So I knew that healing was happening. I practiced some patience. I didn't tweak at that time, but I also didn't really count macros. I didn't do any tracking or anything at that time. My aim was just to eat mostly meat. That was really the main goal. And I saw changes right away as far as improvement in my allergies And like you've said, skin changes, body composition changes, etc., but did not lose weight for 7 months.
It's hard to believe because we're so indoctrinated with the calorie in, calorie out. And so a lot of people, if they were not steeped in carnivore lore, would say, well, you were just eating enough calories to support your weight as it was on carnivore. And then eventually you reduced calories. What do you say to that?
I say, no, I don't believe I reduced calories. I did eventually do some tracking, and this was after I did start to lose weight, but I was eating about 1,900 calories at that time. And I did it just as an experiment to see how much I was eating.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't under eating. And nothing had changed that much. So I think I was probably eating around 1,900 calories with variability, of course, for most of that early year or so of carnivore.
And it took a long time for the weight loss to start. I always bring up that you had body recomposition.
Yes.
So there certainly was some body fat coming off as muscle was going on.
Yes. And I really believe that weight loss is a symptom of health. Does that make sense?
It's a
sign of health.
It's a sign of health.
It's a sign of health.
But is it a creator of health?
But is it? I don't know about that. I don't think it's a creator of health, probably. But for some people, you might, again, if you've got a ton of weight to lose, you might lose. We see people losing a lot of weight very quickly. I've lost 30 pounds myself. So it was a significant amount, but we're not talking the obese category. And so for me, in my weight range, I just felt like I needed to get my hormones in balance, including my insulin, lowered in order to have weight loss occur. So for me, weight loss I didn't expect weight loss to happen right away. I expected a rebalancing of my body, which would result in weight loss.
And it did.
And it did, yeah.
I've actually been thinking quite a bit about whether excess body fat is dangerous in and of itself.
Do tell.
Because I think Dr. Kiltz has often said that fatness doesn't cause disease.
Yeah.
It goes along for the ride with disease. And so it's an outward sign of dysregulation, but the excess body fat itself isn't necessarily causing problems. However, if it's visceral fat, and Sean O'Mara would say that's extremely inflammatory and contributing to all sorts of disease states. So I don't really have a strong opinion about it, but I will say that excess body weight takes excess energy to move around, and that makes the quality of life lower and the willingness to do exercise and activities lower. It's harder to, go up and down stairs because you're carrying a weight suit with you wherever you go. And so one of the amazing things of being just 35, 36 pounds lighter is how much stronger my legs feel because I don't have to carry. I mean, I ruck with a 30-pound weight vest, which is basically what I lost.
Yeah.
That's used to what I'd walk around in without the weight vest on my back. And I can tell you, it feels really easy to move around.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to move around as much weight. And that is part of what I think gives a sense of spryness, agility, mobility, health. Going up and down the stairs is easier because it's easier. So I understand that excess weight can contribute to lower fitness just by the fact that it's harder to move.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the privilege, I'll never forget the feeling. I have the privilege, and many of you ladies have had this as well, of being pregnant. And basically waking up the next day after delivery, 22 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
And going, holy cow, like 1 day's difference being 22 pounds lighter. and having such a stark contrast
Yeah.
that close together in time. And it was incredible.
I don't remember you ever talking about it.
No? Oh, it was something I noted immediately. Because I have mentioned I've never been in the obese category. So when I was pregnant and things were difficult all of a sudden and I gained about 30 pounds with my pregnancy. So when things were difficult, just having a stomach, you can't sit at the table correctly. I had a lot of swelling in my legs, so they were very heavy. It was the first time I had issues with, like you said, mobility and wanting to move. And so to wake up the next day and feel like I literally felt spry and agile.
Wow.
22 pounds, spry and agile, could not believe it. As a matter of fact, I kept plopping down on the sofa and going, ooh, not a good idea after delivering a baby. But I was just like,
How long did that last?
The what?
The feeling spry and agile before you started feeling exhausted and
Until,
sleepless.
How long does that take? About 2 weeks maybe until you're like really going, oh my gosh.
There's a picture of me. I think we had gone to a restaurant like the day before induction. And I had this
restaurant.
I had this look on my face of, it was fear, dread, exhaustion. And I wasn't even the pregnant person. But I was so over it. But I didn't really want the baby to come because I'm not ready. And then we brought her home and I was so not ready.
You did.
But we lived.
Yeah.
She lived.
Yeah, she did.
The daughter survived, so we didn't screw it up too bad. There was a couple of close calls where I probably was not on guard as well as I should have been.
But anyway, 24 hours difference. That's the only thing I can think of is to really, really say that difference.
So now let me make you feel terrible and a bad mom. Imagine if you had actually been carnivore during your pregnancy.
Oh my gosh. If I knew then what I know now, holy cow. I was already having a lot of hormonal issues leading into my pregnancy, including fibroids and a miscarriage. And I was so stressed out. My cortisol was running high during that pregnancy because I was worried about losing it again. And I had I had edema and blood pressure issues. And I just wanted that pregnancy to be I wanted to be that mom who was out walking in the neighborhood and like pregnant and like, hey, I'm good. But it just was not that for me. And it could have been a lot worse. But if I knew then what I know now, I think I would have had I wouldn't have been hormonally imbalanced to going into it.
Yeah.
I would have been properly nourished. And so I think I would not have had the swelling. We had issues with blood eclampsia coming out of the pregnancy. Nothing too serious, but I was on watch. That might not have happened. It was just, it would have been so nice. And of course, we would have raised a child eating the proper human diet, which would have made life completely different as well. And we, as you've said, we might have even had another because I forgot, I was hormonally imbalanced going into the pregnancy. But after I gave birth, I never felt the same again. Like I gave birth, I think I was 32. And my entire decade of my 30s after that, I was exhausted. And it's not new mom exhaustion. I had adrenal fatigue and got to where I could not function throughout a full day and was taking 2 naps, trying to raise this child and give her everything I could. And she took everything I could. No, I don't blame her, but I had nothing left for you. I had nothing left for me. The 30s were pretty dark for me. I was depressed and had sort of a chronic fatigue type situation.
Yeah. So, well, you can't go back in time.
No.
And our daughter's great.
Yes.
So she survived the diet that we've ate and fed her.
Yes, she did.
So
Yeah.
that's all kind of interesting. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to go through the child rearing phase here in my mid 50s, but taking a run at it with Carnivore would be interesting.
It would be really interesting.
We just lost a light because the battery on our audio recording is about to die.
So I guess.
I think we're going to take this as a sign.
Well, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your support with a like or a subscribe, and we will see you next time.
JJ and Eric, their lipids are high. Their doctors are worried they're both gonna die. Is LDL harmless? They sure hope it's so. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. Salad is toxic, seed oils are doom. They rub on tallow like greasy perfume. Ribeyes and bacon, that's all they know. It's the JJ and Eric Carnivore Show. No wheat, no kale, they're laughing at greens. 18-hour fasts are their favorite routines. Sugars for suckers, they're chomping on fat. Streaming to you live from the tallow vat. Eric's got muscles, JJ's got zen. They're coming to chat with their carnivore friends. So toss out the